ATI TEAS 7 Math Mock Test. Question 1. During a task at the recreation center, a volunteer is converting practice syringes. What is the horizontal distance between 2, 10, and 4, 10? Option A, 2. Option B, 8. Option C, 12. Option D, 6. The correct answer is option A, 2. Subtract the x minus coordinates and take the absolute value to obtain distance. Points with the same y minus coordinate lie on a horizontal line. The shared vertical coordinate does not contribute to horizontal separation. For the volunteer's record at the recreation center, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for practice syringes. Question 2. At the blood minus donation drive, a volunteer reviews quantities involving study packets with the grouping stage. A right triangle has legs of 7 units and 24 units. What is the hypotenuse? Option A, 31 units. Option B, 168 units. Option C, 25 units. Option D, 17 units. The correct answer is option C, 25 units. The Pythagorean theorem relates the two legs of a right triangle to its hypotenuse. Adding the side lengths directly does not account for the right minus angle geometry. Square both legs, add the squares, and take the square root of the sum. For the volunteer's record at the blood minus donation drive, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for study packets. Question 3. A planning sheet from the student tutoring lab lists information about sample containers, with the volunteer handling the inspecting stage. A container has 5 red, 5 blue, and 2 green tokens. What is the probability of selecting a token that is not red? Option A, 7/12. Option B, 5/12. Option C, 1/6. Option D, 2/3. The correct answer is option A, 7/12. Add the counts of the non-red colors or subtract the red probability from 1. The event and its complement must have probabilities that sum to 1. A complement includes every outcome outside the named event. For the volunteer's record at the student tutoring lab, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for sample containers. Stressed about your ATI TEAS? We can take ATI TEAS for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. While working in the outpatient reception desk, a volunteer must calculate a value for appointment cards with the preparing stage. How much simple interest is earned on $600 at 7% per year for 4 years? Option A, $600.28. Option B, $168. Option C, $10.50. Option D is $786.48. The correct answer is option B, $168. Compounding would repeatedly change the balance and is not part of the simple minus interest model. Simple interest uses the original principal for every time period. Multiply principal, annual rate written as a decimal, and time in years. For the volunteer's record at the outpatient reception desk, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for appointment cards. Question 5. The college print shop uses a record to track boxes of gloves, with the volunteer handling the reviewing stage. A quantity changes from 145 to 165. What is the percent increase? Round to the nearest tenth if needed? Option A, 113.8%. Option B, 20%. Option C, 13.8%. Option D, 12.1%. The correct answer is option C, 13.8%. Dividing by the new value would answer a different comparison and can noticeably alter the rate. Find the numerical difference, divide that change by the original value, and convert the decimal to a percent. Percent change uses the original quantity as the comparison base. For the volunteer's record at the college print shop, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for boxes of gloves. Question 6. For a project in the wellness seminar, a volunteer is counting nutrition labels. Which scientific minus notation expression represents 500? Option A, 5 times 10 to the power of first. Option B, 0.5 times 10 to the power of first. Option C, 50 times 10 squared. Option D, 5 times 10 squared. The correct answer is option D, 5 times 10 squared. Scientific notation uses a coefficient from 1 up to, but not including, 10 multiplied by a power of 10. Move the decimal until one non-zero digit remains to its left and count the places moved to determine the exponent. A value greater than 1 produces a positive exponent when the decimal moves left. For the volunteer's record at the wellness seminar, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for nutrition labels. Question 7. A report prepared at the Supply Distribution Center summarizes data about measuring cups with the volunteer. A relationship has slope 2 and y minus intercept minus 3. Which equation represents the line? Option A, y equals 2x minus 3. Option B, y equals minus 3x plus 2. Option C, y equals 2x plus 3. Option D, x equals 2y plus minus 3. The correct answer is option A, y equals 2x minus 3. Use the given slope as the coefficient of x and the vertical intercept as the added or subtracted term. Slope minus intercept form places the rate of change with the input variable and the starting value as a constant. Switching the two values changes both the steepness and the point where the line crosses the vertical axis. For the volunteer's record at the Supply Distribution Center, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for measuring cups. Question 8. Before an activity at the local museum, a volunteer checks the amount of training manuals with the grouping stage. Two angles of a triangle measure 37 degrees and 59 degrees. What is the third angle? Option A, 96 degrees. Option B, 121 degrees. Option C, 143 degrees. Option D, 84 degrees. The correct answer is option D, 84 degrees. The interior angles of every triangle sum to 180 degrees. A result must be positive and keep the complete angle sum fixed. Add the two known angles and subtract their sum from the total. For the volunteer's record at the local museum, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for training manuals. Are you looking for ATI TEAS actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access ATI TEAS study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get ATI TEAS answer key today. Question 9. The volunteer at the meal-prep class is responsible for inspecting water bottles. A circle graph assigns 20% to training, 25% to supplies, 30% to travel, and 25% to outreach. If the total is 240, how many belong to travel? Option A, 210. Option B, 8. Option C, 30. Option D, 72. The correct answer is option D, 72. Convert the sector percentage to a decimal and multiply by the full amount. Using the percentage number as a count ignores the size of the whole represented by the chart. A circle minus graph sector represents its stated percentage of the entire total. For the volunteer's record at the meal-prep class, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for water bottles. Question 10. A worksheet used in the community theater contains measurements for first-aid kits, with the volunteer handling the preparing stage. A budget includes 7 identical items at $22 each. What is the total cost? Option A, $161. Option B, $3.14. Option C, $154. Option D, $29. The correct answer is option C, $154. Adding the count to the price mixes a pure number with a monetary amount. A repeated unit cost is combined by multiplication. Multiply the number of items by the price of one item and retain 2 decimal places for currency. For the volunteer's record at the community theater, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for first-aid kits. Question 11. As part of a routine check at the conference registration desk, a volunteer examines bus passes with the organizing stage. Which measurement is greater, 1.7 units or 0.9 units? Option A, 2.6. Option B, 1.7. Option C, 0.9. Option D, 0.8. The correct answer is option B, 1.7. The first unequal digit determines which value is greater. Trailing zeros may be added so the tenths and hundredths positions line up clearly. Decimal comparison begins with the whole minus number parts and then moves right through matching place values. For the volunteer's record at the conference registration desk, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for bus passes. Question 12. A supply request from the day-care supply closet includes several entries for poster boards, with the volunteer handling the counting stage. Convert 8 meters to centimeters. Which measurement is equivalent? Option A is 0.08 centimeters. Option B, 800.00 centimeters. Option C, 108 centimeters. Option D, kd centimeters. The correct answer is option B, 800.00 centimeters. Metric units scale by powers of 10. Use the conversion factor so the original unit cancels and the target unit remains. Converting to a smaller unit increases the numerical value because more of the smaller units fit in the same amount. For the volunteer's record at the day-care supply closet, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for poster boards. Question 13. The public transit hub is preparing for an event that uses lab trays, with the volunteer handling the measuring stage. Solve 7x plus 11 equals 74. Option A, hex equals 9. Option B, hex equals 63. Option C, hex equals 20. Option D, hex equals 10.6. The correct answer is option A, x equals 9. Remove the constant term first and then divide by the coefficient. A 2- step equation is undone in reverse order from the operations applied to the variable. Applying identical operations to both sides maintains equality throughout the process. For the volunteer's record at the public transit hub, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for lab trays. Question 14. A volunteer creates a calculation for storage bins at the emergency preparedness class, with the comparing stage. A circular display has a radius of 11 centimeters. Using 3.14 for pi, what is its circumference? Option A, 379.94 centimeters. Option B, 242 centimeters. Option C, 69.08 centimeters. Option D, 34.54 centimeters. The correct answer is option C, 69.08 centimeters. Circumference measures the distance around a circle. Squaring the radius belongs to the area formula and would produce square units. Multiply pi by the diameter, or double the radius before multiplying by pi. For the volunteer's record at the emergency preparedness class, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for storage bins. Question 15. Information collected in the patient education office describes how classroom chairs are being used, with the volunteer handling the inspecting stage. A bar graph displays counts 17, 18, 11, 18. What is the total count represented by all four bars? Option A, 64. Option B, 16. Option C, 7. Option D, 18. The correct answer is option A, 64. Add the four counts once each, keeping the common unit. The tallest bar or average alone does not represent the complete graph total. A total across categories requires combining every bar value. For the volunteer's record at the patient education office, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for classroom chairs. Question 16. A schedule at the campus greenhouse includes a numerical condition involving survey forms, with the volunteer handling the reviewing stage. An activity begins at 7:25 and lasts 45 minutes. At what time does it end? Option A, 7:10. Option B, 9:10. Option C, 8:10. Option D, 8:20. The correct answer is option C, 8:10. Checking the result against the duration helps detect an omitted hour carry. Elapsed minus time problems are easiest when hours and minutes are treated consistently. Add the duration to the starting minutes and regroup every 60 minutes as 1 hour. For the volunteer's record at the campus greenhouse, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for survey forms. Question 17. The volunteer compares two records about workbooks in the sports equipment room, with the organizing stage. The plan calls for 5 batches of 16 units plus 5 extra units. Which total matches the plan? Option A, 26. Option B, KD6. Option C, 105. Option D, KD5. The correct answer is option D, 85. Find the amount in all full batches and then include the extra units. Combining the addends before multiplying would incorrectly apply the extra amount to every batch. The repeated batches form a multiplication step, while the loose units are added afterward. For the volunteer's record at the sports equipment room, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for workbooks. Question 18. A quality check in the technology lab requires a calculation involving name badges, with the volunteer handling the counting stage. If 34 units are finished evenly during 2 hours, how many units are completed each hour? Option A is 0.1 units per hour. Option B, 32 units per hour. Option C, 68 units per hour. Option D is 17 units per hour. The correct answer is option D, 17 units per hour. A rate compares quantities measured in different units. Divide the total number of units by the elapsed time so the denominator becomes 1 hour. Multiplication would describe a larger total rather than the amount completed during a single hour. For the volunteer's record at the technology lab, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for name badges. Stressed about your ATI TEAS? We can take ATI TEAS for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. The charity fundraiser has set a target related to digital thermometers, with the volunteer handling the measuring stage. Evaluate -17 -8? Option A, -25. Option B, a 25. Option C, -9. Option D, -24. The correct answer is option A, -25. Change the subtraction to addition, reverse the sign of the second number, and apply the signed minus number rules. Subtracting an integer can be rewritten as adding its opposite. This rewrite helps prevent losing a negative sign when two signs appear together. For the volunteer's record at the charity fundraiser, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for digital thermometers. Question 20. A volunteer uses a table to monitor supply cartons at the nutrition workshop, with the comparing stage. A rectangle has a perimeter of 68 centimeters and a length of 14 centimeters. What is its width? Option A, 48 centimeters. Option B, 20 centimeters. Option C, 2.4 centimeters. Option D, 54 centimeters. The correct answer is option B, 20 centimeters. The rectangle perimeter formula counts each length and each width twice. Subtracting the length from the full perimeter would leave 3 sides rather than 1 width. Divide the perimeter by 2 to obtain 1 length minus plus minus width pair, then subtract the known length. For the volunteer's record at the nutrition workshop, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for supply cartons. Question 21. An activity log from the water minus quality project contains values for meal portions, with the volunteer handling the distributing stage. A scale drawing uses 1 inch. To represent 5 feet, a length measures 10 inches. On the drawing, what is the actual length? Option A, 2.0 feet. Option B, 50 feet. Option C, 15 feet. Option D, 600 feet. The correct answer is option B, 50 feet. Multiply the drawing measurement by the actual amount represented by each drawing unit. Dividing would be appropriate when converting an actual length back to the smaller drawing. A scale drawing creates a proportional relationship between drawing length and actual length. For the volunteer's record at the water minus quality project, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for meal portions. Question 22. The volunteer is revising a plan for index cards in the school newspaper office, with the reviewing stage. Estimate 64 plus 81 plus 40 by rounding each addend to the nearest 10? Option A, 200. Option B, 140. Option C, 185. Option D, 180. The correct answer is option D, 180. The estimate should be close to the exact total but is not expected to match it in every case. Estimation simplifies the addends before calculation to obtain a nearby, reasonable total. Round each value to the requested place and add the rounded numbers. For the volunteer's record at the school newspaper office, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for index cards. Question 23. A short report from the Community Art Studio presents a mathematical problem involving folders, with the volunteer handling the organizing stage. There are 8 boxes with 14 units each. After 11 units are used and 4 loose units are added, how many units are available? Option A, 15. Option B, 119. Option C, 105. Option D, 28. The correct answer is option C, 105. Applying the subtraction inside every box would remove the used amount repeatedly instead of once. Multiply the number of boxes by the units per box, subtract the amount used, and then include the loose additions. The grouped inventory must be calculated before later increases or decreases are applied. For the volunteer's record at the Community Art Studio, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for folders. Question 24. The job minus training program must adjust its plan for tickets, with the volunteer handling the counting stage. Which ratio is equivalent to 8:3? Option A, 12:32. Option B, 32:12. Option C, 12:7. Option D, 32:15. The correct answer is option B, 32:12. Equivalent ratios preserve the same multiplicative relationship between their terms. Multiply or divide both parts by the same non-zero factor. Adding the same amount to both terms does not generally preserve the ratio. For the volunteer's record at the job-training program, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for tickets. Question 25. A calculation is needed before exercise bands can be prepared at the housing office, with the volunteer handling the measuring stage. Simplify x caret 5 times x caret 4. Which expression is equivalent? Option A, x caret 1. Option B, x caret 20. Option C, 9x. Option D, x caret 9. The correct answer is option D, x caret 9. The repeated factors from both powers combine into one longer product of the same base. Powers with the same base are multiplied by adding their exponents. Multiplying the exponents applies to a different rule and would not preserve the factor count. For the volunteer's record at the housing office, the final selection should preserve the stated unit or mathematical form for exercise bands.